Hello, my name is Dominic Mott, and my other group members are Zane Kilgus, Kierstin Howard, and Hannah Wilson. We decided to advocate for limit, limited foreign ownership of Missouri farmland. So the issue at hand, the issue is to limit the amount of land foreign countries and companies can own in Missouri. Currently, a foreign country or entity can occupy 1% of land in Missouri, but we would like to lower this amount to 0.5% or half it. Another issue that could arise from this is excluding certain foreign nations from acquiring land may result in negative economic impacts, such as investments that we currently have, or trade relations, or other economic deals we have with allied nations that we're on good terms with. The main issue arising from this occupancy that foreign nations have in Missouri is that it's taking away land from Missourians. So, a little bit on the history of Missouri land occupancy and how it has been in the past. Way back in the 1970s, Missouri, along with other Midwest states, voted to prohibit foreign ownership of any percentage of land to be occupied in the Midwest by a foreign nation due to concerns of Japanese investments. This stayed the same for about 40 years until 2013 when lawmakers passed a bill that allowed a very small percentage of Missouri land to be owned and sold and bought by foreign countries in Missouri. The goal was to ensure we maintain good economic relations we have with most other nations, but we do not want to totally dominate said nations and hurt our relations in the process.
Implementing restrictions on land ownership could result in retaliations from those countries. Impaired relations with China and its largest ally group, called BRICS, could have a negative effect on the global trade market. China imports a considerable amount of agricultural food and products from the U.S. They could insist Americans pay additional fees to sell those products to allied nations if land ownership sanctions are not lifted. If farmland is purchased by foreign entities, it is not certain what their intended use will be, which could leave less land available for agricultural use, thus decreasing food security for those dependent on its current use for food production. If Chinese or other countries are producing their own food on that land, will the U.S. lose out on profits from exporting goods to those countries? And what possible threats are there to letting foreign companies own land near American military bases, electrical plants, or other areas of infrastructure?
Hi, my name is Zane Kilgus. This is how Missouri agriculture is currently being affected. Missouri land is being used by restrictive countries such as China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, and Venezuela. This takes away from Missourians. The Federal Agriculture Agency uses a broader definition of foreign ownership of agricultural land in Missouri. It says foreign investors held about 433,000 acres of agricultural land in Missouri in 2021, about 1.2% of all privately held land. Some farmland is already owned by foreign countries. Smithfield Foods, which was bought by China, currently owns farmland in the state. This ownership takes income away from Missouri residents. Will this change affect investments from allied nations? If allied nations don't own land in Missouri, this could potentially impact foreign trade. Missourians feel that their land should be preserved for its residents. Missouri should be able to sustain a food supply for its residents and not rely on foreign trade. Global connections. Restrictions to foreign access could lead to political relations, impaired trade relations, specifically with China and its BRICS allies. Decreasing agricultural land use affect food security, uncertainty of U.S. export market, possible threats to national security. How will Missouri agriculture be improved after our changes? Missouri residents can see profits from the land instead of foreign countries or entities. This allows Missouri residents to use the land for farming and or grazing and raising cattle. Limited land ownership to foreign countries or entities leaves the land in Missouri to the residents of Missouri. Missouri Governor Mike Parson issued an executive order January 2nd, 2024, limiting the purchase of farmland within a 10-mile radius of critical military facilities by foreign advisors. This order safeguards our military and intelligence assets, prevents security threats to our state, and gives Missourians greater...
Our audience is the Senate Committee, the Missouri House of Representatives, and Missouri residents, farmers, and agricultural workers. Will be focusing on reaching out to farmers and residents and educating them about the following bills. So the first is House Bill 903, which lowers the maximum amount of Missouri farmland that can be owned by foreign countries from 1 to 0.5%. The bill prohibits restricted countries from purchasing any land in Missouri for any reason, and it's revisable every 2 years. The next bill is Senate Bill 649, which would use the Code of Federal Regulations to determine which countries can be banned from land ownership and considered restrictive, such as Cuba. To educate about these, we'll be using social media such as X, Instagram, and Facebook, pamphlets at kiosks and around downtown Springfield, and seminars through the College of Agriculture. Some mock-ups for this include this large graphic here, which can be used for X and Facebook, and then the same graphic cut into smaller squares to match with Instagram scroll feature. So any of these mock-ups include local legislators, the bills in question, and why it matters, and why you should know your legislators, the bills they're passing, and how it impacts Missouri farmland and land ownership. So this is the same information as the last social media graphic, but it's spread out a bit, and these would be the physical pamphlets available around Springfield. Ideally, with this kind of advocacy outreach, we would be able to put a phone number, a website, email here. So if people have more questions and want to be educated and spread this information, they have someone to contact directly. Next, we have a seminar poster. So these two on the left are very similar to any residence hall publicity you'll see. There's the smaller version of little flyers you can hand out, and then two examples of bigger versions. So this one on the right is more formal. These are more aligned with a Missouri State seminar, but any poster like this can be put on social media as well, and they all have the same information of land ownership in Missouri, how it's been impacted, and why it matters to know your legislators and the bills they're passing. Of course, these would be more fleshed out given a date and a speaker, but they're all good examples of how to get this out there, and starting with these bills and why they're important, and just increasing interest and knowledge in our community overall.
Works cited for this page are Ag Literacy Resources, Weinberg Tessa, the Center for Food Integrity. Companies with ties to China are largest foreign owners of agriculture land in Missouri. Lewis Evie. All of these resources can be cited to show why it is important for Missouri residents to have these bans on these foreign countries from owning land in Missouri. It protects our agriculture land, it protects the residents, and it is actually good for the entire country, and we all should be paying attention to these foreign countries owning land in the United States.